Well, good afternoon. And as you know, I'm your host today, Silvia Gina Hunt. And we come out, and it's been a while, and we do Talk Self. And today I have a distinguished guest, and I'm going to pass the word to him so he can introduce himself. But we are certainly honored to have him, and this discussion is going to be really fantastic.
How are you?
Thank you, Mr. Prince. Tell everybody your name, and let's get started.
My name is Dr. Min Va'Mon Princ, and I'm the pastor of the R.E.A.L Institute Church of Christ Consciousness for Worldwide Hope.
Okay. All right. And in your congregation, do you meet what days, or do you do things during the week? Or tell me about that.
Yes, we do have a set day, which is Wednesdays, that we do in different locations. We don't actually have a brick and mortar, so we do meet in different places. Okay. But throughout the week, certain people that participate. And
this way is how you go about conducting your service, your prayers, or?
Yes, we have a specific day, which is Wednesdays. Okay. And we have it from 12 to 3. Usually it's 1 hour, but afterwards we mix and mingle and talk to people in the community outside and things of that nature. But other days than that, we do meet up and we have, I guess you would call them meetings, if you want to do that, but we brainstorm about things that we want to do for the community, things we want to do to try to empower humanity and our own personal progress and empowerment.
I like that. And the ages are general, just all ages?
We have members, again, of all ages from 8 and up. Typically, our standard number would be the age of, between the age of 30 and 40. More people fall in that category that come to our meetings or gatherings.
That sounds good. Okay, I like that. And the time on that Wednesday that you usually start, the hours, what, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock? Or?
We start at noon. We try to be like really prompt, starting at noon, and we end around 1.
Okay.
The actual, what people will call a service, you know, we're not very formal, so that's why we don't have members and service and stuff. We have it, but we don't use those terms because we don't want to be associated with too much strictness or too much rigidness. So we try to use terms that are more, I guess you would say, modern, so or more acceptable in now these now times. Okay. And that's pretty much from 12 to 1, and then from 1 to 3, we just mix and mingle. People leave, people come, you know, whatever. We just let people come and we just hang out. Sometimes we eat, we sing, we do whatever we want to do. But pretty much after 1, it's just, I guess you would call it hanging out.
All right, that's interesting. How long have you, when did you originate? Your origin, how long have you had your doors open? Or?
We started in 1990. It was me and 2 other gentlemen. Actually, 2 other gentlemen, then a third one came, and it was 4 at that time. One gentleman was from what at that time was known as the Ansar Law community. Another gentleman was from the FOI, or NOI, the Nation of Islam. He was a FOI member. And I was not into any religion. And we came together and we said, instead of all of us, because we have different belief systems, instead of us fighting and arguing with each other and trying to tear each other down, how about if we find the common thing that we all possess or all believe, if you want to call it that, or we all practice, that we all can agree on, and that's benefiting to all of us. Let's put it together and make something so that we don't have to fight, but we can unite. And that's what we did, and we put that together. What happened in that time, back in those days, a lot of religions were really strict about what you could and couldn't believe, what you could and couldn't do, who you could and could interact with. So me and the gentleman that was in the Nation of Islam, we became really, really close. We were really good friends. And people would try to get him not to be friendly with me because I didn't believe in all of their precepts. And they didn't care about the ones I did. They only cared about the ones I didn't believe in. So they would tell him that. And then the other gentleman that was in the Ansar community, initially he came and he would try to debate us, but we ended up liking him and we all ended up getting along. So we said, listen, instead of debating and fighting, why don't we put something together that people could benefit from? Because everybody believes that their system is the system that's going to save humanity. So we said, okay, but we see that we all have different systems, but we all have a certain type of information. And we all have powerful information. So how about we, instead of having 3 different systems and arguing, we'll make one system and we'll go with that, and we'll let, something that people, and we'll make it non-denominational. and that's what we did. Then another gentleman who was in the 5% Nation, he added on, and then it became much more powerful because he was all the other two gentlemen, they were very powerful individuals. He came and added a lot of value to it.
But now, when you say the 5%ers and when you say the Muslims, what book is there? A common book that you all looking at, and what book is that? When you say that, are we talking about the Quran, or are we talking about the Bible, or are we talking about in Judaism, or if we're talking about only the first part of the Bible and not the secondary part? Or is it some other, like say for an example, I practice Buddhist, I'm a Buddhist, so we usually look at the Goshu, but the only thing is everybody's always included, so there's never any kind of conflict with anybody at all, because to a Buddha, then that the Buddha just means a human being. But as the guidelines of the, say for an example, the guidance and things like that, like for us, it's just a case of individually, each and every individual trying to put out the best possible person that we can be without looking outside ourselves. But however, when we look at the Goshu and a lot of the different writings that we go by, history-wise, really no different than, you know, these terms of the commandment. We can't steal, we can't kill. We're Buddhists, but we follow very on the line of the 10 Commandments. The similarities may differ. You can do whatever you need to do to make you happy, but the most important thing is, what are you doing for the others? Because I know with the Muslims, they have the morning prayer, you know, where they do the prayers, and they have that is a no-brainer that everybody does this, and people don't do that at that time, but special prayers. I'm just trying to see, because that sounds great, you know, because things change, so now we're in a different technology. So you hear the different, and you take the different pieces of the Bible when Moses was going around before, way different than when Jesus Christ hit the planet and the disciples. You know what I mean? But the main thing is that the human nature, the response of people doing evil. What do you have is like a layout, a background for, say, the smaller kids, that their vocabulary is not that great, because, you know, normally they take them in the church and they would learn the different songs, you know, the simple songs, Yes, Jesus Loves You, or Let's Read the Bible, and they have instruction from early age. Mm-hmm. You know, the parents can drop them off, and it's like a Sunday school. So they already have a good base, so that when they get 5 or 6, and we can start teaching them to read and everything, they already have a lot just in their heart. Mm-hmm. Like they know, for an example, the things that they shouldn't be, how to be polite, how to be respectful to elder people, you know, and how to not talk back to adults. Or even better than that, real young, not to talk to strangers at all. You know, these kind of things that is the real reason, the real base, the actual proof and cause of why people get that spiritual beginning and that spiritual growth, so that they can conduct themselves, so they can have a way to the higher place, both physically and mentally in the mind, and that they can be able to have compassion. Because the problem is, a lot of times we do have people that are fortunate enough that, or they may not look at it as fortune, but they may be the only child. And so what do you have in place for those types of situations, like in your prayer? Mm-hmm. You know, what do you have for them to actually, do you have songs that you guys sing for everybody to cherish and to be able to go to a next stage? Because honestly, the children are going to start out crawling, and you take them and then you sit them in church, and or at the culture center, or at the temple, or at wherever you are. You know what I mean? And the children, because of their presence and the way that they are, they pick up all of these things. They don't even have to know how to read and everything. They don't even have to know how to talk yet, on words. But they pick up the rhythm. They pick up the melody. They pick up the love that their dad has when they're there, and their mom has, and family, because it's a family institution. And you just said it's for all ages. So what you're developing is a family institution.
Yes.
Where people can bring their brothers and their sisters and moms and dads, and everybody can come sit around. And so, what is the guideline that they read? Do you have something? Do you?
Yes, we do have. We have, I guess you could say, literature.
Okay.
As far as the song thing, we don't have actual songs. A lot of times, with some of the people that participate, do is they'll take a song that already exists and they'll kind of like replace certain words with other words that I guess they consider more fitting.
Them.
Yeah.
That can
so you know, and it's like a song that you might really like and it's real popular, it's on the radio. You'll take a song like that and replace maybe some of the words that are not so positive with some of the words that or our concepts or precepts that are positive. So you get the song that you like and you get the precepts that you want. So you know, it's a double impact and it's a good thing. Now, as far as what happened is when we were doing the thing, I'm talking about being the three other guys. We said to ourselves, because Farouk was dealing with his lessons, Rakim had his 5% lessons, his 120. Sekou had his all the books from Dr. York, and
Dr. York.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the
so
people
now
that
this is something that you collectively, all you guys, read this and share these different books.
No, at that time, no. What we did was we actually put that aside.
Okay.
Because what we said is, listen, we're all not going to agree on these lessons. We're not all going to agree on these books. And we're not all going to agree on this. We're not going to all agree on whatever it is that I was presenting. But we all came to a certain compromise because there were certain core principles that we all said, these we believe are true. And we believe that these principles right here will aid humanity, not just us, but humanity. We said that maybe, because a lot of times what people do with their doctrine is they say, yo, I love this doctrine right here. I love this. And I don't want to let go any part of it. So even a part that doesn't serve them, they'll hold on to it. What we said is, every part of the doctrine, okay, we love this. But to make this work with all of us, because we don't all believe in these doctrines, we're going to sit down and we're going to say, okay, what about this? And we'll all critique it, not attack it, but critique it and say, well, let's see how that will help us. And once we came to the consensus of what will help us and humanity, we said we had certain core principles. And we took stuff from other places too, some ancient Egyptian teaching from the Book of Coming Forth by Day and by Night. We took stuff from the great Imhotep. We took stuff from other J.A. Rogers, different Ivan Van Sertima,
well,
Dr.
J.
Ben.
Rogers,
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to read all three of those things. But that is more of, that's not necessarily religion at all. However, it's the understanding of the mind of the black man.
Yes.
But however, what you have to be careful of is that although the original earth of Africa is totally is the beginning, however, we have derived in such a way that we have all people.
Yes.
So when we say all people, then that is on the surface. So then how a black man thinketh may be a little different than how the Indian man thinketh, or the Spanish man thinketh, or the French man thinketh, although they're still the same individuals. And the only difference that they have human being-wise is the language. But because of their location, you know what I mean? But because of where they may be from, if they have a whole lot of sun, it's a different kind of existence than the people that's in Alaska or the North Pole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So their body functions will tend to be different because they'll have more cover up for where they are, where they're born, where they actually are located. And when they hibernate after hundreds and hundreds of years, that can change. You know what I mean? But we have to be careful. what is going to be good for all men at all times, no matter where they come from? What kind of spirituality could, because other than that, then it would be anything that's going to discriminate, that's not going to see all men as equal, is a problem. Or will begin to be one. Because the input has to be from all the people that are feeling spiritual in whatever way. Then you have the people that are very creative, and then you have the ones that you need to kind of like, they need to have something that the text so that they can read and study and learn to feel it, because they have it, but it has to be brought to the surface. Like, in other words, it has to be a lot of emotional stirs and a lot of hope, a lot of spiritual guidance to be able to bring that out. A lot of people, because you have, look, we have people that are born slow or mentally retarded or blind or deaf or whatever. We have all of these things that part of human nature. But if we have something that we're going to devise for everybody, then everybody would have to be able to use it. I should be able to use it even if I'm blind. I should be able to receive it even if I'm deaf.
Yes.
You know, I should be able to receive it even if I'm a little small infant, little child. Or if I'm 100 years old and I'm going through dementia. It has to be, I mean, something that's going to work for everybody. So, the good idea that you adopted a lot of different things. But now, the thing is, now the most important part is then, because when it comes to religion and the faith about it, this is what really drives the religion. Not so much the thing, because you see that as we grow across and we run across different people from different places, their faith, and they have a certain way to speak to you that you know that they're respecting you, and you know that they care. You know what I mean? And you can't even understand what they're saying. That's not even their language. You can't even understand them. But you know, just by humanism, us being human beings, when they kind, when they hold the door for you, or they let you go first in the line, they see you a little older, or you in a transit or bus or whatever, they let you sit down because you got a cane, or they see you pregnant, they let you sit down. You see what I mean? All these spiritual goodness things, that's just goodness. Goodness goes around and around. So people have the ability to have the goodness, because there's a lot of people that in the world that never got to hear about the Bible, or never got to hear about this Buddhism, or never got to hear about, what do you call your practice?
It's called the AUM INSTITUT.
AUM INSTITUT.
Yeah.
They never got to hear anything about it. But they don't have to hear anything about it. Because they can see you and know you and get from you, from your life, what you show them. They don't have to get anything, but to where they can say, gee, that guy. And the guy could say, well, I'm going to church. And you just have to know, regardless of whatever you do, well, that's a good guy. That guy's, you know what I mean? Or they're going to the temple to talk to Allah. Well, that's a good guy because that guy is thoughtful and cares about everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And your institute, well, that's a good institute because they're talking about world peace. Peace for everybody, no matter where they come from, no matter what they have, how rich or how poor. You know, everybody is equal, and everybody can share this terrific goodness, this spirituality. So that's interesting, but you didn't bring us any of the pamphlets or any of the documentation that you have right now.
No. I wanted to bring you some of the books, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
Okay.
We
would definitely like to show the people and maybe show a few, you know, that would be great. We're on TV. You would want to spread it around the world right now while you got the opportunity. Great. We have to bring you back then because we're not as prepared as we could be. But
yes.
But But in the meantime, I'm really overjoyed to hear that people, young people, are thinking in the box that what can we do to help humanity. And it's not even anything that's on the political agenda either. It's just something that's human nature.
Yeah.
We all can see when these negative, like I said, we all see when things are just outrageous. Things are just too high. Food is just too high. Rents and mortgages and everything is just too high.
Yeah.
To get a car is just too high.
Medication.
You know, medication is just too high.
Yeah.
So we know that we have to have religion and spirituality in the world.
Yeah.
Because we just can't go by our government and what man say. Of course, excuse the expression, but a lot of us is already catching hell to the extent that we don't know how we're going to make it to the next day, let alone a couple of more years of this term of this kind of harassment and foolishness. So we don't even know tomorrow if they decide that we're going to be in war tomorrow with Syria, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking along the lines that these people are Muslims or whatever they are, because that's not the point. Really, that's not the point, because we all people, and people make mistakes.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting, though. And I'm going to say our first segment is almost over. So if you have some information you want to put out there, like say so people can contact you, our audience, to get back with you and to go a little deeper into this conversation with you directly, and to some of the other ministers with you, to be able to grab a better understanding of what this is all about, by all means, just go ahead and give us your email and your information.
We have a website, which is www.theuminstitute.com, and it's spelled THEAUMINSTITUT. There's no E on institute. Then we have Facebook, and it's under one page is under my name, which is Va'Mon Princ, VA''MON and space PRINC, no E at the end. And the other Facebook page, which is a like page, is the AUM Institute. AUM Institute, AUM and Institute without the E. We have a Twitter, which is the AUM Institute. We have the email is the AUM Institute at AOL.com. We also have an Instagram, which is Statix33, STATIX33, and that's really one of our empowerment courses that we teach to try to help the individual become the greatest versions of themselves, and find the things that are holding them back so that they can empower themselves. We have so many different ways that we get reached. We on what's that, YouTube? We on YouTube. We had a few videos. Our channel just got shut down, but we got a new channel anyway. But they shut our video. We had about 8 or 9 videos up there. We were doing pretty good, and they just shut us down. But things happen like that. That's what happened when you want. That's why we started our own website. That's why we get our own website. We end up paying, because when you're on other people's platforms like Facebook or whatever, they get this shut you off whenever they want. So we decided to get our own. And we also have the www.statix33.com. We also have that website. That's a website you go to if you want to sign up for the Statix 33 course, the self-empowerment course. The AUM Institute, you go in there, it has some of our literature, it has the tenets of our belief system. It has a whole bunch of tenets of different things that we believe. But if we tell you on there, you don't have to believe all of this. You believe what works for you. If you have a different belief system, it's fine. Only thing we ask is don't force what you believe on us, and we're not going to force it on you. We just want to unite, and we're going to find the common ground, and we're going to empower humanity. We're going to empower ourselves and others. That's what we do. We have 3 books out. The first book is called The White Book, and people always ask me, what does that mean? Basically,
what does it mean? I'm interested.
what I was gonna do is when I first started doing books, what I was gonna do is make a whole bunch of books, a series of books, and each book was gonna be like almost a continuation of the last book.
Okay.
But these are these are nonfiction
Something
books.
like J.A. Rogers' books, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, like people have
Where
volume
you
1,
would
volume
start
2,
at the
volume 3.
beginning, the
Yeah.
origin, and you will work your way up into what is going on right now, and that makes sense.
So I just
and you're the author, actually the author too. You're the one that actually
Yes, I penned the books. What I was gonna
and where can they get these books at the bookstore or?
Oh no. Well, you can go on Barnes and Nobles. They on the Barnes and Noble site. They on Amazon site.
Okay.
You could just Google. If you Google my name, my picture will come up, and a whole bunch of all 3 of the books will come up, and different little articles about me and stuff that have been written or whatever. And it'll take, because it's like a lot of little mom and pop stores that have the book as well. So you probably can even get it cheaper than you might get it from Barnes and Noble. A lot of the books are like $30+ or whatever. Another store might have it for $20-something or whatever. Or you get to contact me directly and you'll get it even cheaper.
Okay. All right.
That's what it. But the white book thing was, each book was going to be a different color. It was going to be like a white book with a black question mark. It was going to be an all red book with a red question mark. And so forth and so on. That was pretty much what we wanted to do. So
so we're gonna take a time out, and I want to thank you again. It was just an honor for you to be here and share with us. And we're gonna be signing off, but we thank you all for listening and knowing that we really care about changing the world, a human revolution. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
People change the world for the better.
B.E.A.T.